Hello, people. So, here I am with my first interview experience for a finance role, which was for Paperboat. So, I applied through an employee referral who forwarded my resume to the company. The process started with a pre screening call from HR, followed by a technical round conducted by a team member from the department where the recruitment was taking place. If you pass the technical round, the final interview is with the CFO. Unfortunately, I didn't clear the technical round, but I can share the questions I remember from my 40 minutes interview. So now let's dive into the questions I was asked during the interview. So always start with greeting the interviewer first. After the interviewer is done with introducing himself, you introduce yourself. Then they started asking me about my family background to get a sense of what my long-term goals are and to check whether I could be a good fit for the team or not. They especially do this when they're looking for long-term hires. They wanted to know whether I was open for relocation and how quickly I could make the move. Next, they asked me to share my accomplishments from my articleship, particularly areas where I added value. So be prepared with specific examples. Then moving on to the technical round. So here is where things start getting serious. So let's dive into the technical questions that I faced during my interview, starting with the resume based questions that I was asked. Like, what type of statutory audits have you done? Have you ever come across situations where management was involved in fraud or misreporting of financial statements? Have you audited a manufacturing company and what was its turnover? What do you think are the major costs in the manufacturing company that you audited? So it can be industry specific if you have mentioned any industry in your above answer or in your resume. They might also ask about control checking and types of controls, especially for the companies that are mentioned in your resume or you are thinking of mentioning in your interview answers. Okay, so be smart and be well prepared. What checks do you put in place where you are confirming balances in financial statements aside from vouching? Then they asked me whether, like, were you an individual contributor or you were part of a team during audits? Have you ever led a team and what challenges did you face and how did you manage your juniors? Then I was asked certain tax and compliance questions like what is the difference between 194Q and 206C? What is 194R? Can you explain AMT and MAT? What kind of GST returns does an organization needs to file? What is the difference between 9 and 9C? What is meant by inverted rate of supply and how it can be claimed? Then he moved on to like ask he asked financial and accounting concepts like what do you mean by working capital? Then he asked me to elaborate it with examples and formulas. Then if a company has negative working capital, what does that mean? Then they gave me a scenario like would you prefer a company with a high credit turnover ratio or a low debtor turnover ratio? And if a company, then there was a follow up question like if a company has a high creditor ratio, does that mean that they have more time to pay creditors? Is that a good thing? Like, what is the difference between the current ratio and liquid ratio? Based on the answer, this was like the followed up question that he asked me. So, an important tip for you, always research thoroughly about the company before your interview. Go through their vision, mission, their financial statements, their annual reports, any current news about the company or the organization, about the products that they manufacture or they trade in, and about their business lines. Learn about the company's leadership and their current share price because you could be asked questions on these same. So obviously I was also asked questions like or like whether do I know what is paperboard and what kind of products have they launched recently or their past products that they are already dealing with in. Next, they wanted to check about my future goals and whether I'm a good fit for them or not. So they asked me about my long-term plans. So they asked me like, what excites you about this role? How do you see your growth in the short and long term? So basically, how do I expect to grow? What are you looking for in a company as an employee? So they were trying to understand whether I did be a good fit for the role and their organization. So this is your chance to shine in the interview. This is your golden chance. Be very well prepared for this answer to showcase how your goals align with their company's vision. Following up this question from the interviewer, I always recommend following up with this important question to the interviewer that could you highlight the role and responsibilities that are expected of me So luckily in my case the interviewer was really kind, and he gave me a thorough answer to my satisfaction. So don't hesitate to ask, okay? It shows a genuine interest in the position that you are being offered. Finally, they asked me what are my expectations in terms of compensation and whether I had any offers in hand, any other offers in hand. Last, the obvious question that the interviewers asked us, any questions for the interview. So my interview lasted for around 25 minutes. So these are the key questions that I remember from my interview, and I hope it will be helpful to the people who are preparing for their own interviews. Do share this video with your friends who are going to sit for the interview, and don't forget to leave a comment if you find this video to be insightful. Wishing you all the best for your interview.